Welcome to Slime Rancher. I had one goal for this video. Complete 100% of the achievements. These achievements range from incinerating freshly born chickens to jumping off cliffs. Can I complete all of these achievements in Slime Rancher? Let's find out. And so it began like any other adventure. Except this time it was a little different. 1,000 light years away from Earth on a planet known as the Far Far Range, we were beginning our first day as a Slime Rancher. And so I woke up on my brand new ranch ready to farm some slimes for their glorious poop so that we could sell it back to the suckers on Earth. And so I began by sucking in one of these pink slimes conveniently located at the start of my ranch, and thankfully there was already a corral that was built up and ready for them to go into. Now we also found some hens and some chickadoos on the ranch as well. So after collecting all of these slimes off the start of the ranch, we got some of their poo and decided to sell it at the plort market. Thankfully this would always be here, and it was a way for us to sell the slimes plort or poo back to the people of Earth. I then left the ranch and found myself out in the Dry Reef, where I was met by a note from Hobson Twilligers. Now, he was the previous owner of this ranch, and we had no idea where he had gone off to. However, we got distracted by the wonderful, bountiful pink slimes that were getting shot out of this dry coral. We also found some carrots and some pogo fruit, so I grabbed as much of that as I could, as this was going to be our sustenance for our pink slimes, and it was going to be a way for us to generate a bit of income. I then threw in all the carrots that we had, as I was trying to make a little bit of extra money here. I also went ahead and built myself a garden, but we didn't actually put a crop in it just yet, as I wasn't sure what exactly I was actually going to put in there yet. I then went ahead and checked out my house and the star mail. We had a letter from Casey and the 7Z Corporation. I then headed back out into the Dry Reef, where we found some new slimes. Whoa, oh damn, okay, hello big fella. Guessing you can't absorb this guy, yeah. Boom! Can I suck in the blue dudes? Oh, we can. Okay, rock slime. So we've got some rock slimes. We've got their... Let's get rid of this chickadoo. Let's grab their... No, don't you eat my plort, you bastard. Get out of here. After finding the new slimes, I then found a cave system just off to the right here and continued in through it, where we found some aggressive largos, which looked downright evil, like they wanted to suck my soul out of my body. I continued exploring the Dry Reef when we found the map of the area, which unlocked everything in terms of viewing it, which made our lives a lot easier. Oh, look at this. There's a cat one. Oh, we got a cat slime. Oh, we got our first achievement. Let a tabby slime headbutt you right on the nose. Okay. While exploring, I found this absolute unit of a pink slime, and it had a diet of everything, so I figured we'd feed it some pogo fruit. I then returned, grabbed some tabby slimes, and headed back home to drop off all the plorts into the selling device so that we can make some more money. I also grabbed all the pink plorts out of the pink slime corral as well and sold those. I then went ahead and built a new corral so that we could house our rock slimes together. However, these guys did like to headbutt me, and their headbutts actually hurt. Oh, hello. What are you? We've got a phosphor slime. Just like Slime Rancher, today's sponsor, Mirabeau Go, also lets you collect all the creatures. Mirabeau Go is the world's first free-to-play monster catching and building survival game. Now, Mirabeau Go also features cross-play compatibility, allowing you to play on your PC and mobile by utilizing cross servers. This new and exciting game combines creature catching with over 100 magical beasts to find, with each of them learning their own individual skills and having their own elemental typing. But that's not all. There's also free building, which your Mirabeau pets can also help you with their unique base skills. But hold on, there's more to this game, with mount exploration and multiplayer combat. But with over 100 magical beasts to find and catch, like this giant guy Terror Rhino, you'll have plenty to do. This game will be launching globally on the 10th of October. Pre-registration is now open, so be sure to pre-register with your friends and don't miss out. Mirabeau Go also has guilds. I will establish my guild after the game is officially released, send invitations to everyone in Discord to play with me, so join my channel, get the blogger gift code as soon as possible, and play online together. You can join the official Discord with my guild channel, Cjthecheesedj, and be a part of a community. So what are you waiting for? Sign up and join Mirabeau Go and be a part of my guild. Don't forget to join the Discord and have a chat to me in the official guild chat. I continued exploring the Dry Reef while also collecting more of the phosphor slimes as we went along. As these guys were nocturnal, if we kept them out in their corrals during the day, they would most likely die and disappear, which we didn't want that to happen. So I continued exploring, eventually finding a giant tabby gordo in the back end of the area, and we actually found a treasure pod, but we had no idea how the hell we unlocked them, so we just left it. And then we found more of the giant largo. Largos, the very angry Largos, and we actually copped a hit from these guys, and they were terrifying. Thankfully though, when I got to the other side of this bridge, there was a locked door, so all of that was for nothing. I then decided to feed the tabby gordo some of the hens that I had with me before sucking up a stony hen and actually taking that back to base so that we could breed these up back on the ranch. It did take me a little bit of time to get back to the ranch, however on the way I did find a phosphor gordo hidden in a cave underneath the dry reef. So, well, at least we knew where to come back for that. I then also found another slime gate door that was also locked because I didn't have any slime keys to open it, which is wonderful. And we got 50 plorts on the range in a single day. Let's go. Pew! And we got catch as well. Wonderful. We're smashing out these achievements so far. I then returned back to the ranch to sell a bunch of the plorts that we had collected. Let's drop all that. I mean, we're losing 2 gold per thing. We also just got plort peddler. Let's go. Sell 100 plorts on the market. We're at 800 almost bucks. Now I went ahead and removed the pink slimes in the first corral and replaced them with the rock slimes, and I took a quick look at our chickens. We were making a crap ton of them. I also went ahead and built another corral. Due to my game crashing, some of my progress had reset back to day 1, so I was a little bit annoyed at that, which is why you'll notice that some things are slightly different, but we were pretty much on track after this point. Some Slimepedia entries had to get refreshed and all that sort of stuff, but it didn't really set us back too much. Thankfully, we were able to actually go into this with a clearer mind. So I grabbed a bunch of the tabby slime while out and about, put them in a corral next to the rock slimes, and then I figured, you know what? I think we're going to need to make some Largos out of these guys. We also noticed that feeding a tabby slime its favorite food actually granted us 2 of the plorts instead of the standard 1. So we were going to breed up the stony hens, which is why we threw all those chickens in there. I went ahead and grabbed some more of each of the slimes, and then I went ahead and fed them the corresponding plort. So we had some rock tabby Largos now. Now these guys, every time that they ate, were going to generate 1 of the rock plorts and 1 of the tabby plorts. However, if I fed them their favorite food, which happened to be heartbeats, these guys would actually drop 2 of each of these plorts. However, we hadn't found that heartbeat yet, so for now they were just going to have to live off carrots. Now I did have a slight concern that they would be able to get out of the corral because they can jump quite high due to them being half cats. I was a little bit concerned about that, and you can see here one did manage to get out, so I figured we're gonna need to upgrade the corral. I did go ahead and purchase the high walls, and I was hoping that was going to be enough to stop them. I also went ahead and fed them the carrot and noticed that they dropped 1 of each of their plort like I mentioned earlier. So I was hoping to line up their favorite food. However, in order to get these plorts, I had to get into the corral with them. And that turned out to be rather hazardous, with me taking quite a bit of damage. Thankfully, I was able to sell their plorts for a bit of extra cash so that we could continue upgrading the ranch. Back out in the dry reach, I just pretty much went ahead collecting as many resources as I could. My main focus was on rock slimes, pink plorts, and any extra sort of resource that we hadn't already collected that would benefit our slimes. I didn't want any more pink slimes as these guys really weren't going to contribute too much to the ranch, so I just tried to pick up their plorts where I could. I also thankfully found a stony hen that I was going to try and introduce into my coop so that we could start breeding those guys up. Thankfully, 1 was all I needed and received, so I was kind of stuck with that. I then went ahead and sucked up all of the normal hens. Well, not all of them, just some of them, so that we could get the breeding, as the coops did have a maximum of 12 hens in there. And then I went ahead and fed our rock tabby Largos the hens that we pulled out. It was then time to sell some more plorts. We had made a little bit of bank with these, but I mean, not like a crazy amount. We only are at the start of the game, so money is a little bit harder to come by. Thankfully, my carrots had grown and I was ready to feed the giant pink gordo waiting for us out here in the dry reef. However, this guy sucked all my resources dry. I moved on, however, and actually managed to find a heartbeat in 1 of the crates that we found near the giant gordo. So I got back to base, got that growing straight away, as that was going to produce a bunch of extra plorts from us feeding our tabby Largos. So I wanted to get that growing ASAP. I also received a Q-berry, which was actually the phosphor slime's favorite food. However, we didn't have any. So I got a bunch of carrots, returned back to the pink gordo, and popped that sucker like a pimple, getting a bunch of pink slimes in the process, some extra bits of fruit, some chickens, as well as something that we had never seen before. A slime key! Finally, we were now going to be able to open up one of those slime doors that were locked. Now you're probably wondering, CJ, why didn't you use the pogo fruit on the pink Gordo? That's because we were saving it for the phosphor Gordo, as its diet is only fruit. So I wanted to use up as much of the pogo fruit as I had for the phosphor Gordo so that we could try and get both of these guys to pop. However, unfortunately, I just did not have enough fruit to pop the Gordo yet. So we headed out, grabbing some more stony hens as we continued exploring, just gathering resources. We didn't really have too much else to do at this point in time. We were just trying to get enough resources so that we could start expanding our ranch, start making a bit more money. However, as I continued through the night, I met the big baddies of this game. Oh, what the hell are they? Tar slime. Slimes, meat, and ranches. Cool, yep, that's exactly what you want to see. That is terrifying. So after coming face to face with the tar slimes, I then returned back to the base and upgraded our rock tabby largo corral to include the plort collector so that we could have an easier time getting our plorts and not get smacked in the face every time we went in there. I then went ahead and harvested up all the Q berries on the tree as I was going to go farm some phosphor plorts out in the Dry Reef. Now, thankfully, it had ticked over to day 3 and the plort market was up, so I went ahead and sold all my current plorts that I held. Now, I was then introduced to the quest system in Slime Rancher, so we had a request from Thora West for 3 Q-berries, some plorts, and some chickens. I completed the Q-berry section and then headed out into the Dry Reef to feed out some Q-berries. I also stopped by the Phosphor Gordo and fed it the Q-berries that I had to try and get it to pop. Obviously, it didn't pop just yet, but I had some pogo fruit with me, and that was just enough to get it to burst. So thankfully, we were able to get into the Phosphor Gordo's belly. And inside of that, we found a bunch of phosphor slimes, another slime key, as well as 2 crates that we cracked open. I then returned back to the ranch to check on the chicken coop, and thankfully we were producing stony hens as well. So I fed out the stony hens that we brought back to our tabby slimes, as they were looking a little rough for wear, they were looking a little bit hungry, and they were very keen to get some chicken into their bellies. With the plorts that I'd currently collected as well, I then decided to sell those for all the extra cash. Everything was up, so it made sense to sell all the plorts. I then got my first harvest of heartbeats, so I threw those to the tabby rock largos to get some extra plorts. I gathered all the plorts that we currently had when I got the achievement for staying up all night and spending 24 hours awake. The next morning, I spent the money that we had earned upgrading the tabby slime corral so that we had higher walls. I also got access to the dash boots, which was a new upgrade for me to be able to use, which allowed us to move faster. I sold the more plorts that we had. Once again, they were still up, so I figured let's sell them. I went to take a look at the upgrade station. However, before I bought any of the upgrades, I wanted to actually take a look at the extra areas that were off to the sides. Unfortunately, they were a little bit too expensive for us at the moment, so I held off on doing that. And I needed to get some pink plorts as well to complete Thora's mission. So I went ahead, chucked the plorts in as well as the chicken, netting myself an extra 500 bucks as well as extra resources, which I was super happy about. We then received another mission from Victor Humphreys, a scientist that was located out here in the Far Range, and he wanted slimes for his research. So I figured I'd go ahead and go get those, and we headed out into the Dry Reef. Oh shit, a golden slime. Well, that went bye-bye real quick. Alright, let's feed out these hens that we collected on the way to this tabby Gordo. Now, because it wasn't nighttime, I couldn't get the phosphor slime, so I figured we'd head out and use our first slime key when we got the achievement for Open Says Me, and we made our way into the new forest area. In this location was a bunch of new slimes that we had yet to come across, but we luckily found some more tabby slimes that we sucked up, as well as a new puddle slime and a new boom slime located out here. Now, the boom slimes, they weren't so friendly. The puddle slimes, though, they were very cute, and I could get behind getting some puddle slimes. Okay, hold the phone. We've got another door here. Do we want... I mean, that looks like it takes us into an even another area. So, you know what? Let's do it. I have no idea where this takes us. But that looks like another area through here. Oh. What is going on here? Okay, we will come back for that. I am getting very excited exploring everything. You know what? We're here already. Why not? What do we got? Okay. Oh, what is going on over here? Okay, so potentially need to power stuff with plorts. I don't have any extra plorts on me. So it looks like we've got a phosphor one. There's the rock one. Alright. After examining the slime gate, I then returned back into the forest where we found a briar chickadee. Now this was a different type of chicken, and I figured it was gonna be the favorite food for the boom slime. And I'd be very happy to feed them from a distance, as they seem very explosive and that could be very dangerous for my health. I'm very lost. Oh, what is that? That's a yellow slime. What are these guys? Honey slimes? Oh, I want some honey slimes. Pogo fruit? What type of food do I eat? Fruit. Alright. Alright. I see you guys. What do we got going on over here? What are these? Mint mangoes. We're just going to throw all this pogo fruit away. We don't need it anymore because we want some mint mangoes. So after gathering the mint mangoes, I was still lost and I could not find my way out of the forest area. I tried going back through the entrance and you couldn't actually go back in through there because it's a log that you fall down. I didn't have a jetpack or anything. I was a little bit lost. Thankfully, I did manage to find the portal back to the ranch eventually, and we returned with our mint mangoes and our slimes that we had gathered so we could hand them in to Victor. Now, I needed quite a few of them. I was unfortunately short one rock slime, which, I mean, it's fine. We could go out and get another one, but I still also needed the phosphor slimes, so that is what I headed out to do. I grabbed the 7 phosphor slimes that I needed and the extra rock slime, grabbing some pink plorts along the way so that I could obviously sell those for some extra cashola as well, because we always needed more money. Nailed it. Let's go. I then went ahead and took a look at the new prices that were available, and the new slimes that we had found would sell for a lot. I then committed genocide and killed the phosphor slimes. I went ahead and sold all the tabby plorts that we had collected over time. They were only selling for 15, so that we were losing a little bit of money on selling them, but I honestly I didn't really care too much. I just wanted to go ahead and get some more money. We also unlocked the fortunate achievement as well. I then went ahead and spent some money on some upgrades for the tabby rock largos, as I figured they were going to be our main source of income for the time being, and I wanted to add some extra tabby slimes into that, so we chucked in 2 more and then decided to get rid of the rest. Goodbye, tabby slimes. I hope you guys are ready for all the genocide I'm about to commit by throwing these slimes into the water. We're going to grow some mint mango in there, and we're going to grab this cube fruit. Actually, you know what? We need to upgrade this as well. Let's go ahead, upgrade this. Do I need to upgrade this? I mean, you know what? It's good to have. I got cash, let's do it. I think what we'll do as well is we're going to build another corral here. And we got feed 50 slimes on the ranch, their favorite food. All right, cool. I'll take that as well. Let's go. We are killing it with the achievements. I then went and finally took a look at the upgrades and bought myself the water pack, so now we could actually suck up water and use that. I also found a lucky slime out in the wild. I had no idea what these guys did, but thankfully I had some chickens on hand and I actually fed the lucky slime. I managed to get some money from it, so I was happy about that. I also got it in the Slimepedia entry, which we also need for one of the achievements as well, so I was pretty happy about that. Okay, we got some tar slimes. Let's try this water out. Whoa, okay, that's cool. It's literally like one shot and they get destroyed. I'll take it. After testing out the water cannon, I then returned and bought the jetpacks. Now, I could sort of fly, which made things getting around a little bit easier. We could also explore new areas. I then went ahead and sold some of the plorts that we had collected from our largos, which was always great, making a bit of money from that. I then went over to the new corral that we had built and offloaded the fruit that we had in my inventory. My plan here was to head back into the forest area and actually grab maybe some of the honey or boom slimes, or make both out of them, make largos out of them. So I was putting that fruit in there for safekeeping. So we then needed to head back out to the forest. So while heading back out to the forest, I received some new star mail from Ogden Ordis, someone who we hadn't met yet. I also managed to get a boom slime as well as a puddle slime while we were out here in the forest. However, the puddle slime did need a puddle in order to be kept on the ranch. We're in the area and we've got a boom plort that we managed to suck up, so let's fire that in. And that looks to have unlocked an extra slot. I then returned back to the forest and managed to find some honey slimes as well as another lucky slime. These things were just super attracted to me when I had no chickens whatsoever. So I didn't get any extra cash off them, but I did get the honey slimes, which I was very excited for. All right, let's get the honey slimes into the corral. They should eat most of this fruit, which will allow us to get their plorts, which we should be able to give to the boom slimes. Thankfully, the briar chickadoos that I brought back to the ranch had grown up into briar hens, so I could actually feed those to our boom slimes, as that was their favorite food. I was going to get the plorts from them and turn the honey slimes into honey largos, honey boom largos, like I did with these guys. So this was going to be our next corral, a honey boom largo corral, which was going to make us some pretty big money because we were selling them for 50 a piece. We then met Ogden Audits and he had a request for vegetables. So it was a pretty easy request, some carrots and heartbeats for some big old cashola. So I completed that very quickly and sold the plorts. It was then time to buy some more upgrades such as the tank booster, which allowed us to hold more resources. I also went ahead and removed the Q-berry tree and replaced it with a mint mango tree. I received some mail from someone called Mocky Miles as well while out exploring, and I returned back to the slime gate with a bunch of plorts in hopefuls to be able to open the gate. So I placed all the ones that I had, and unfortunately I was still missing some, but I did return to the forest and find the map area as well, and it was then time to get the next achievement that I needed. We're going to do it while we just run around here. We're taking a bit of damage, but I think we should be okay. I'll say that, and I hope I don't eat my words here. We're getting precariously low on HP. Gonna have to... Oh, just... Woo! That was a close one. I continued exploring the forest when I stumbled upon a new Gordo, a hunter Gordo. Hello. I was like, surely there's something up here. Nope, it turns out there is something up here. Blado. Diet meat hunter Gordo. Alright, we're gonna just feed you all of these, I guess. Alright, here we go. Let's drop off the phosphor plort. Boom. Okay. After dropping off the phosphor plort, I then only needed one more plort, a green one, but I had no idea where it was. So I went ahead and fed the tabby Gordo, unlocking a portal back to the ranch, as well as a way for me to get closer to the forest if I needed to get back out here. Upon returning to the ranch, I then managed to get the transporter achievement, selling 500 plorts to the plort market as well. I then spent some time upgrading the farm so our heartbeats could grow a little bit quicker, as these were one of our main food sources and money sources for these Largos here. I also collected all their plorts and sold those at the market. Now, looking back now, I realized that they were selling for a lot less. We could have made a lot more money if we had just held off, but it's fine. We needed to make the space for it, so I went ahead and sold them. I also collected our first lot of honey plorts, and for some reason decided to store these alongside the boom plorts, but not the actual rock or tabby ones. I'm not entirely sure. I then went ahead and performed some maintenance on our coop, getting rid of some of the chickens and roosters, as there was a cap on how many chickens would actually come out in these coops. I then met Mocky Miles, and she wanted plorts for her missions in return for cash and some various resources. So obviously I had to oblige. It was a very easy mission to do. I completed that very quickly and then headed back out to the forest just to continue looking for resources and things that we hadn't already collected. Now I did discover a new area slightly with our jetpack, and in this new area was a honey Gordo. So thankfully I had a bunch of fruit on me at hand, so I went to work at feeding this guy right up. I want to get rid of this pogo fruit first, and then we'll use the mint mangoes. That looks like it's giving it more than what the standard fruit was. Here we go. We've got a bunch of honey slimes. I want to get... Oh, and we got another key. Awesome. I don't need these honey slimes, so they can go into the water. Goodbye, fellow servants. Alright, let's grab the key. Let's grab the crate. Just some virgin stuff. We don't really want that. We're going to grab these mint mangoes because we're close to them. Oh, never mind. We're not going to grab them. Are we safe? We're safe. Want these extra mint mangoes to take home? Is that a hunter? That's a hunter slime. How do I get that? Let's drop the mint mango because I don't really care for it. I want the hunter slime. Ooh! Oh god, we're getting destroyed here. Okay, we've got a hunter slime. After collecting the hunter slime, I then headed back out to the hunter Gordo, and thankfully roosters were its favorite, so I was able to make it pop. Getting another slime key as well as a bunch of hunter slimes in the process as well. However, underneath us were some very aggressive Largos, and it wasn't a fun time. And primordial oil. Oh, I just fired a freaking hunter slime. Okay, we just died. No! Oh, we lost fucking everything. Oh, that's so annoying. Now, since I had died, I figured I'd read the mail that I had been neglecting for so long in my house, and we got offered the 7Z Rewards Club, so we could spend money here to upgrade our ranch as well as get various rewards. I then spent the morning selling a bunch of plots, earning myself the achievement A Quick New Buck, which had me earning 5,000 new bucks in a single day. With our new cash, I then spent some time upgrading the gardens that we had, as well as completing another mission, gaining some more plots in the process. Straight after it, however, we did get offered another mission, and I decided to take Moki's mission, which had her requesting for some plots. Completed that, and I unlocked the Cjthecheesedj achievement as well. I then went ahead and decided to purchase some upgrades for myself. After dying to the Hunter Largos, I figured it would be a good time to get some upgrades. However, I purchased everything but the heart module. But I returned to purchase it again because I wasn't making that same mistake again. I then returned back to where I died, managing to get myself some hunter plots as well as the resources that I missed out on, such as the slime key, as I didn't actually collect that before dying. Thankfully, I was able to get some more hunter plots by feeding these guys. However, I wanted to get out of there before I actually died again because that wouldn't be a good look for me. Grabbed the slime key and managed to get out of there, returning back to the ranch to sell some more plots in the process as well, as they were all up for the day. While selling the plots, I did manage to get to the Plot Authority achievement as well, selling 1,000 plots on the plot market. The next morning, I purchased the grotto for almost 2 grand, and this place was really cool. It was obviously like a sort of underground area where we could actually house phosphor slimes without them being at risk of dying to the sun. So it was a cave system which looked really cool, so I had a few plans that we were going to use this area for. I then headed out through the Phospho Largo cave and found the slime door that we had found earlier, getting access to the Indigo Quarry and getting the Mine All Mine achievement as well. Now in the quarry, we managed to find some new resources such as the odd onion as well as a bunch of heartbeats. We also found some new gordos such as this rock gordo here, as well as the map to the area. So now we had a pretty good overview of how big this place was and where the other slime gate was. Now, while wandering around, we also found some oka as well, so I figured we were going to find 2 new slimes out here. We also came across a golden slime, which I actually shot one of the okas out and managed to get the gold plot in the process as well. I hit it, so it might be a little bit angry at me, but I'll take it. Oh, it's a big fella. I'm pretty sure there is an achievement that we have to do with this guy for 15 seconds or something. I think we have to stand in his little bubble. But we found the Rad Gordo, so I'm guessing he likes the odd onion or the oka. Let's see if we get an achievement here. Do we get it? We're at 100% radiation. Do I need to be very close to it? Got enough health, I should be alright. I hope. I don't really want to lose the odd onions or the oka now that I'm starting. Or the gold plot for that matter, actually. I might get out of here. I'm a bit scared. Let's go. Oh, we got it! I then found the miniature versions of the Rad Gordo, collecting the Rad Slimes. Now, I double checked to see what these guys' favorite food was, and we were right in it being the oka. So I was pretty happy about that. We managed to find another slime gate as well. Popped the slime key in to open that up. And that actually led us back to the slime portal where we were just missing a single rad plot. So I headed back to the ranch. We got a new mission from Thora West, which I completed, getting a bunch of stony hens as well as a couple of plots in the process. And then I unlocked the overgrowth area on the left side of the ranch. So I went to take a look at this place, and this area was actually really nice. It had some free-range chickens running around everywhere. We had some pogo fruit growing, as well as some carrots growing in this area, so I was pretty happy with how this looked. I then also discovered the docks further down. However, I didn't have the cash to buy that. So I then went ahead and built a corral in the quarry and fed some rad gordos under there so that we could get some rad plots. I then went ahead and sold a bunch of our plots. We've earned over 25,000 new bucks. Another achievement off the list. I then went back out to the Indigo Quarry and actually found a new area that I hadn't been before with a bunch of new slimes. Some crystal slimes were located out here. So I needed to do some inventory management as I didn't have any space, and then I headed down here to take a look at these guys, and they were super cute. So we finally got access to the crystal slimes, which I was really happy about. I also went ahead and chucked in the rad plort to the final little slot that we needed to, unlocking a brand new area as well. The slime gate decided to sing me a little bit of a song as well, welcoming me to this new area. Thank you, I guess. Into the past, the ancient ruins. Okay. Inside the ancient ruins, I then managed to find a new slime, the quantum slime. Now, these guys were really cool and a little bit annoying. They had the ability to phase into things and out of things. They ate phase lemons as well, and I needed to try and get some. Thankfully, I did find one in a crate, but I couldn't actually harvest them from the tree. I then stumbled across a boom gordo. Now, I couldn't actually get to this guy from the back end. I did have to do some magical hijinks with some of the gates that appeared throughout the ancient ruins. You can see you could activate them and deactivate them using that little switch. So I didn't actually manage to get around to the Boom Gordo, but I did find the end of the ancient ruins with a portal back to the ranch and a whole new area down below. However, I needed another slime key to open that. A slime key that I didn't have. Okay, we need to do some serious organizing because we have things everywhere. So I'm going to reorganize the ranch. I think I'm going to get rid of some of these corrals. Yeah, I'm going to just try and reorganize stuff and see how we go. I then also went and bought some upgrades in the 7Z Rewards Club, earning me the achievement or one person at a time. I then got to work on setting up the corrals that I wanted. So the first one was going to be a Rad Slime and Boom Slime corral, which turned them into Rad Boom Largos, I guess. Boom Rad Largos. I also completed an extra mission, earning myself some extra plorts as well in the process. And then it was time to get rid of our Rock Tabby Largos. I felt a little bit bad, but it had to be done. And you know how we get rid of them? Launch them into the sea. It's a much kinder fate than what occurs later in the video, I can guarantee you that, so I think sparing them that torment and launching them into the sea is much better. I also set up the garden area above into Oka Oka and Heartbeat, as my plan for the corral where the Rock Tabby Largos were was going to be a Pink Slime and Rock Slime Largo corral, because I was going to need some pink plorts later down the line. Now, I also demolished the corral and turned it into a silo just because we had the Boom Rad Largos right nearby. I didn't want to have two of those guys so close to each other, just in case something bad happened and they turned into tar slimes. I also needed the extra storage space as well. So our Honey Boom Largos also had to go bye-bye, and they were also launched into the water. I told you guys earlier there was going to be a lot of genocide and a lot of killing of slimes throughout the video. I apologize to the slimes, they are way too cute. I apologize, slimes. Now, in terms of doing this, we actually unlocked an achievement in the process as well. The Fireworks achievement, which I had no idea was an achievement, but we got it in the process anyway, so I was happy about that. Now, while sorting the ranch, I also got the Fully Loaded achievement, having an upgraded structure of each type on the ranch. Now, down here, I also built a new corral and decided to put the Crystal Slimes and the Quantum Slimes together. I felt like having the Crystal Slimes down here was a fitting way to have them just because they are part of the Quarry, and this is when the Quantum Slimes decided to prove their worth. They had the ability to actually phase out of the corral if they weren't kept happy, so we had to make sure that we kept them happy by building them a garden that was upgraded, and that was going to be our phase lemon tree. Now, I also grabbed some upgrades as well since I had the cash, and they were pretty good upgrades that we were going to need. I then went ahead and chucked in a bunch of rock slimes to turn into the pink rock largos so that we could get all the plorts from them. And my quantum crystal slimes were breaking free. It was not a fun time down there. I'm sorry for not feeding you guys. Please get back in your box. Oh my god, they are everywhere. Okay, we may have to return back to these guys because I don't have enough phase lemons to deal with all their grumpiness. Okay, we've got some fruit here for our quantum slimes. It's just normal pogo fruit, but I'm hoping that'll keep them satiated until I get some phase lemons coming in. Now, after planting some mint mangoes, I then got the fruit cocktail achievement as well. As for the rest of the overgrowth part of the ranch, I wanted to have a Honey Hunter Largo area, and I wasn't too sure what to make of the other section, but we were going to run with that for the time being. I also had a bunch of heartbeats because I was going to head out and see if we could pop the rock gordos. We had a bunch of them out here. We found 2, so I had a bunch of heartbeats. I also found some carrots and some odd onions on the way, and I managed to pop the first rock gordo, getting myself access to a teleporter back to the ranch, and this actually unlocked in the quarry section. It was then time to pop the second rock gordo. I was really hoping to get a slime key from one of these guys so that we could go ahead and unlock that gate at the bottom of the ancient ruins, but this also just unlocked another teleporter. I went through the teleporter and was transported to a nearby island, which I went ahead and discovered and explored. Now, there was actually another gordo out here as well, so we found an actual crystal gordo out here. So I figured we could try and pop that at some point. So thankfully we had a bunch of heartbeats, a bunch of carrots, a bunch of odd onions, and a bunch of oka oka. So I got to work at popping that, and thankfully we were gifted with our slime key that we so desperately needed. And we got some jellystone. Don't know what jellystone is, but I'll take it. And yes, we have found the rad gordo. All right, let's feed it the oka oka to get rid of that. And then I'm hoping with the heartbeat and the carrots, we should have enough. Its radiation zone's getting bigger as we feed it more. I never counted on this. Okay, there we go. I'm going to get rid of the carrots, I think, anyway. And we got another slime key. Let's go. I then made my way back to the ancient ruins and fed the Boom Gordo some chickens to try and get him to pop. Obviously, I didn't bring enough chickens though, but I did want to bring the slime keys to the slime door so that we could crack that open and see what awaited us within. Now, unlocking it led us to another chamber, and inside of this chamber was some more shrines with what looked to be quantum slimes. So it was time to go out and get some quantum plorts. Thankfully, I headed back to the ancient ruins and found a couple of these guys wandering around, where I fed them some of their heartbeats so that we could get a bunch of plorts, and then I powered up whatever device this was going to be. Do we get a portal now? Okay, fancy, fancy, look at this. Do we go through it? I don't know. Whoa! Smoke, fire, and mirrors. Discovered the glass desert. Whoa, what are you, little dude? Dervish slime. He makes freaking tornadoes! I'm gonna get rid of these quantum plorts. We're gonna suck this little dude up. Get in here. While exploring the glass desert, I also found these weird flower plant things that had a very sour look on their face. Wasn't too sure what they were gonna be for yet, but we continued exploring the desert. Oh, we have a new type of chicken. A painted hen. Let's grab one of these as well, I guess. This is a Tangle Gordo, diet meat. I'm guessing it likes painted hens. We're going to hold on to... Oh. I was going to say, we're going to hold on to the painted hen, but we've got a lot down here. We've got the map of the area and another slime gate. Let's activate that. Nice. Now, while exploring the glass desert, we found out why it was called the glass desert and what formed the glass. Gigantic fire tornadoes that appeared. Now, thankfully, these tornadoes also spawned in fire slimes, which we collected, and we were very happy to discover these guys. I then went ahead and unlocked the next slime door that I had found. Thankfully, we had the extra key that we could use, and in here, we didn't really find anything interesting except for some silver parsnips, which I was assuming was going to be for another slime that we were hopefully going to find in this area. I also found some prickle pears as well. Now, I didn't really have the means to bring any of these back home as my inventory was already full, but I actually discovered Hobson's final notes. Now, these were all leading up to this ruin at the end here, where we actually found a party Gordo as well. All I want to know is how I get back to my ranch. Party Gordo. Oh yeah, died everything. Okay, what's going on over here? I chose my door, I went back to the ranch and promptly sold it. I have a feeling this might be the end of the game, but like, we haven't done everything. Yeah, look, discover where Hobson's journey ended and started once again. Cool, so how do I get back to my ranch, fam? That's what I'd really like to know. Is there a warp terminal back to me ranch? Beam me up, Scotty. I mean, that looks pretty cool though, I'm not gonna lie. You could have left me a warp portal back to the ranch, that would have been nice. On returning back to the ranch, I managed to get the While You Were Away achievement as well, which was really good, and one achievement down. However, we had a lot of maintenance to do around the ranch, and one of those maintenance things that I wasn't looking forward to was checking in on the quantum slimes, because I guarantee any money they managed to get out and were causing a ruckus down there. Let's take a look. Actually, Surprisingly not. Okay, color me impressed. Well done, guys. I'm very happy with that prospect. It was then time to sell all the plorts that had accumulated over time. So I started with the rad plorts and the boom plorts as they were selling for the most amount of money at the time. However, the boom plorts had dropped off drastically from the 50 that they used to be worth and were now only worth 25, but was still saying that they were green with an arrow up. I then continued selling plorts throughout the day. Alrighty, and we're gonna buy the docks. Just bought the docks. Let's head down here and take a look at what we got down here. Alright, so we got a puddle. We got a rubber ducky toy. So on the docks, I decided to build another pond. Even though we had a pond right behind us, I also went ahead and built an incinerator. The incinerator was going to be for the fire slimes. We could upgrade it with an ash trough that allowed us to place items into it and it would generate ash and cause our fire slimes to generate their fire plorts. So I chucked some carrots in, generating some ash, and then I chucked our fire slimes in as well. Chucked more carrots in to see the ash coming in, and then I planted an odd onion on the farm, unlocking the salad bar achievement in the process. I also completed another mission from Mocky Miles, unlocking Mocky's Ranch. Now, this teleporter location was in the quarry, and I found Mocky's Manor. Now, we decided to come back to this at a later point in time because I wasn't really too sure what all of this entailed. Alrighty, we got a new coop here for our painted hens. They're all going to go in there. As for these guys, we're going to take this elder hen and there it is. Incinerate an elder chicken. Nailed it. I do apologize a little bit for this little chickadoo. Yes, I am a monster. Send an adorable chick to a fiery end, the same place you're now going to go to. Thank you for that, game. I already knew I was going to hell, however. After murdering some poultry, I then returned back to Mocky's Manor and competed in her Quicksilver games. This essential minigame had us collect some energy shots, and we had to shoot these shots at the Quicksilver slimes which raced around the racetrack, and in order to get some Quicksilver plorts. Now, there wasn't really any achievements tied to this. I did need the Quicksilver slimes in the Slimepedia entry, but this was just a really fun little mini game to break up Slime Rancher. It kind of turned it into like a little FPS where you would get like upgrades and you'd get different weapon types to increase the amount of plorts that you receive. I turned in these Quicksilver plorts for some extra cash and then returned back to the ranch where I completed another mission for Ogden and also unlocked his area, which we had to take through a teleporter. However, we also got awarded a Tangle plort which we could use to turn some of our Dervish slimes into Dervish Tangles. I also read his letter that he sent out to us explaining what we needed to do. So before we headed out, I did fire the Tangle plort into our Dervish slime, which was located in the overgrowth, gaining access to some new slimes in the process. Our mint mango tree was going well, so we also fed those to our hunters, and then I headed to Ogden's retreat. Now, Ogden wanted some fruit in some prehistoric areas, so we had to go out there and collect that for him. However, out in this area, we did come across a new type of slime. Oh, they don't look friendly. Wait, Saber Hunter Largo. Eat the chickadoo. What are these? Saber plort. New Slimepedia entry. Slave the slime. Dope. After completing Ogden's round of gathering the Cucadoba fruit, I tried to grow it back at the ranch, but it didn't let me. However, I also stored the Saber plorts as we were going to combine those later down the line. After handing in the fruit, I managed to get access to the spicy tofu. Now this allowed us to feed slimes infinitely, getting all their plorts. I also went ahead and purchased the lab, gaining access to slime science. Now slime science was going to allow us to create gadgets using slime science, so the plorts that we collected, and from this we could gain extra resources that we would need to A, complete the game, and B, unlock extra achievements. So we got the Onward to a Science achievement, crafting our first slime gadget. In these build sites, we could install these gadgets that would allow extra functionalities in the game. Now, while also doing this, I finally got access to the treasure cracker as well. Now, while doing various tasks on the ranch, I also got the Buck achievement as well. I don't know where some chickens are, but apparently we're feeding them to the slimes. And we just got sell 2,500 plorts at the plort market. I also finally placed my first slime gadget. Now these were the resource gadgets and there were different types. So we had the apiary, the drill, and the pump. And each of these had corresponding biomes that you could place them in for extra resources. And we were going to need these resources to complete the achievements that we needed. I also returned back to the Boom Gordo, getting that guy to pop as well, getting some more boom slimes as well as another coveted slime key. I then returned back to the glass desert to try and pop the Tangle Gordo. Thankfully I had some hens that I was able to throw in there, and I was able to collect some of the Tangle Slimes. However, I didn't really have a use for these guys, as we had already managed to get the Tangle Plort from completing one of Ogden's missions when I discovered the Mosaic Slimes. I had no idea where they came from, they kind of just magically fell from the ceiling. But these were ones that we were missing, so I managed to grab 3 of them from this initial area, which I was super happy about. Now I was actually going to combine these guys with the Saber Slimes, but before that, I had to bring some life back to the desert. So I found these dervish shrines and popped the plorts inside of them. In doing so, gave me access to a magical fountain that gave us magical water, or ancient water as the game liked to call it. With this ancient water, I was actually able to water those grumpy flowers and unlocked the renewal achievement. And we hit the other spot. We've got more growth going on. That's awesome. I don't know if this does anything, like are we just bringing life back into the desert? Okay, here we go. This is the rock plort fountain one, so let's drop that off. There's another one. After activating the rock fountain shrines, I guess you could call them, I then gained access to the ancient water in this area and proceeded to water the desert around that location. I have a feeling that there might be a golden slime nearby. I can hear a lot of little, like, shimmering. Over in that direction. Oh. What is that? Gilded Ginger. Very few rangers will ever read this. Favored by the gold slimes. Oh, that's how you get their thingies? So after finding the Gilded Ginger, I then went back to the starting area of the glass desert and brought life back over there. Using the ancient water to water all of the flowers in the desert would slowly bring back all the life, and I managed to get the prickle pears as well that I had missed earlier now that I had some space. So in returning back to the ranch, I chucked in a bunch of mosaic slimes up near the laboratory area and threw the rest of them off the cliff. These super rare slimes deserve no less. It was then time to harvest my first slime gadgets. In this, we got a bunch of resources that we hadn't gotten before, and I also fed some saber plorts to the mosaic slimes. These guys looked really cool, and I was really happy that I had waited to feed these guys to this, because I think they just, the mosaic slimes go with everything, to be honest. I continued just harvesting up the gadgets in the moss blanket, getting access to some wild honey, buzzwax, and royal jelly. Now, all of these were important because I was going to need them in the Slimepedia entry and to make future gadgets. I went ahead and harvested up a bunch of plorts and also chucked those into the slime gadget creator. So this was essentially the resource holder for everything. And I returned back to Moki's Manor, completing another round of the Quicksilver slimes. And doing so gave us access to double priced plorts every now and again. I also went ahead and fed our fire slimes some slimes. A little bit of cannibalism never hurt anyone, and also got the upper crust achievement as well in the process. I also made some purchases at the 7Z Rewards Club, as a couple of the achievements were locked behind this, such as the slime toy shop and the chromas. Now I returned to the outside of my house, changing the colors of it, and unlocked the Color Me Oppressed achievement. I also unlocked access to the advanced harvesting gadgets as well, which once again we were going to need to get the rarer resources and complete our Slimepedia. I went ahead and harvested up a bunch of the rad plorts, as these storage areas were getting very full very quickly with the amount of food that they were receiving. So I was going to sell these, but instead donated them to the Slime Gadget Fund. I also built another corral and filled it with pink slimes so we could get a bunch more pink plorts, as they were necessary for all these gadgets. Now another perk of this is that I could get the Ball Pit achievement to get into a corral with at least 40 other slimes. Now I then gathered these same slimes, headed out to the wild, and got the Controlling the Chaos achievement as well. Headed out to the Indigo Quarry, harvesting up all the gadgets out there, and I completed Victor Humphrey's mission, which also unlocked a new area for him, and I also got the Omnivorous achievement as well, as Bia the Builder from creating slime gadgets. I then made my way to Victor's workshop, where he notified me that he was working on a procedurally generated area and that there were glitch slimes located within this area. They looked very similar to other slimes, but they had some inconsistencies. We also unlocked the Slimepedia entry for the Slimulation, and you could already tell which one of these were glitch slimes. Upon sucking them up, they turned into glitch slimes and we were able to suck them into our vac. On exiting the simulation, I ended up leaving with 104 glitch slimes, which was actually perfect because that was how many we needed to unlock the next tier of Victor's devices. Now, upon depositing all the bug reports, we did get access to the manifold cube, as well as met Victor's assistant, Bob, aka Slime Man. Now, I went ahead and also made a drone for the ranch, as I think these guys were going to help automate things around the ranch. So I set him to target plots in corrals and take them to silos. Thankfully, the drone was going to help us out massively. I just needed to make sure I had it watered. I then went ahead and harvested up some more slime gadgets, getting access to the spiral steam and filling that out in our Slimepedia. I returned back to the glass desert, getting pepper jam as well. Now, there were some slime gadgets that you could build that would help in getting these resources back, as well as teleporters, but I just didn't have enough resources in order to make those yet. I also witnessed the drone in action, taking all of the plots out and depositing them.
Ah, sweet.
I then read a letter from Casey and unlocked the Adventure Continues achievement. This was the final letter that Casey was going to send us, and I also got a letter from Hobson. Now, Hobson's letter let us know that there were vaults located across the far range and to go find them.
Alright, cool. Okay, we got a little cutscene here.
That day, Beatrix took a moment to reflect. She thought about Hobson and Thora, and the adventures she'd had exploring the far range. But most of all, she thought of Casey and wondered where life would take her next. Dramatic cut to the black. Oh, what do we got? Oh, we're singing a song. I'm guessing this is Casey. Oh, we got... Cut to the next part. This isn't supposed to be what's happening. We haven't finished yet. We've still got achievements we've got to finish. So after completing adventure mode, it was then achievement time. I first started with the risky business achievement, putting multiple Largos in the sand corral. I then also went ahead and got the diversification achievement as well for having different types of Largos on the ranch. I spent some time upgrading a corral so that I could chuck in a bunch of different slimes as well. This one had us requiring to chuck in 6 different slimes into a corral. So I went ahead and grabbed my slimes and grabbed this puddle slime. Obviously the puddle slime and the fire slime, not the best idea to put in here, but I got the job done, guaranteeing us the 6-pack achievement. With these same slimes, I then decided to chuck them into the puddle, as we needed to have 4 different slimes in a puddle to unlock this achievement. And that was the pool party achievement. I then wanted to get the bursting at the seams achievement. Now, this required me to have a fully upgraded silo with 50 slots filled on every slot. So I thought I had done that with putting these final plots in. Turns out I was wrong, and one of these slots hadn't actually been filled. On the final tower, there was only 8 heartbeats instead of the 50 that I needed in there. So I went ahead, grabbed the rest of the heartbeats, and got the bursting at the seams achievement. For this next one, all we got to do is jump off a cliff. Nothing to it. Now, I then needed to go out to my slime gadgets and harvest the resources, as I was still missing stuff in the Slimepedia. Thankfully, I did get lava dust unlocked, so that was another one ticked off. I then spent some money on the 7Z Rewards Club, buying the advanced slime toys as well as the Market Link slime gadget tool, and then I bought some slime toys, getting the mint in box achievement as well. I then went ahead selling a bunch of plots in the process, as there was still one achievement that I needed, the Plot Tycoon achievement. I also managed to get some silky sand from the glass desert and got the echoes that I was missing for so long and completed the Slimepedia. A little tiny laser light. That's fine though, it means it's done. I can't believe I missed so many of them. Look at them, there's so many here. Back on the ranch, I then went ahead and built a Market Link gadget, allowing me to sell plots remotely, as my quantum and crystal plots were just absolutely banking up. and they were worth a lot of money at the time, so I went ahead and sold all of those, making a butt ton of money in the process. I then managed to find one of Hobson's vaults that he had mentioned in his letter, so I headed in there only to be greeted by a slime door without me having access to a slime key. So there goes that idea. Now I also went ahead and made the slime stage, which allowed you to put a slime on it, and all I needed to do was create a tar slime and have that set on the stage. So that's exactly what I did, getting myself the best of the worst achievement. This guy should be very proud. I then returned back to the vault with a slime key, gaining access to it, and lo and behold, I was greeted by something that I was not expecting.
I'm a little nervous. I don't want to mess up.
Oh shit, it's a whole bunch of them. Oh well, we got the achievement that we needed. Hat trick, let's go. There is one of the most painful ones that we were trying to get. Let's just smack. I didn't realize this whole vault would contain a bunch of them. I think they're all gone now. No, we've still got a couple of guys. We've got some gold plorts here. Let's just smack into this dude a little bit more. I'll take it. 10 gold plorts. We're rich. What has our uncle left us in here? Ooh, are they just more gold plorts? Is this just full of gold plorts? Holy smokes, I think it is. What have we done? We are rich now. I'm not going to be able to carry all these home. And they're actually up as well, so we're going to sell a bunch of these gold plorts for sure. Look at that money coming in. Oh, damn. That feels good. Now we should have enough to buy our next upgrade, because why the hell not? Look at that. Perfect. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Look at this upgrade. This is beautiful. Now I also built the advanced Gordo snare, as I needed to try and trap a hunter Gordo, and this was the only way to do so. But I also needed to fabricate a bunch of slime gadgets to get the Never Stop Creating achievement, which I managed to get. I also needed to make the slime ball hoop in order for another achievement, so I managed to make that, and then I collected my pink slimes to try and play some slime ball hoop. My first attempt did not go well. Not the greatest, but we'll give it another shot. That was pretty bad. Okay, I feel slightly more promising for this round. Here we go. 15 more points. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go! Just as my jetpack ran out, I was a little bit concerned, not gonna lie. I then headed back out to the moss blanket to check my traps, and unfortunately, no hunter Gordos. However, there was a way to get a guaranteed hunter Gordo, and that was through the Master Gordo snare blueprint. For that though, I would need a butt ton of money. Thankfully, with my slimes and drones, I had automated it so that I could get all that money, so I slept until morning in order to get the cash that I needed, and with that I could finally purchase the Master Gordo snare blueprint. Now the next step was creating the Master Gordo snare. For that I needed a bunch of hexacomb and spiral steam. Thankfully with my extractors I did manage to get it all, and I was able to create it. So I got the Hunter Gordo's favorite food, a roostro, placed the trap, and stuck the roostro on the trap. I then proceeded to jump off the edge of the cliff, getting revenge for the slimes that I had killed throughout the video. There it is, the hunter has become the other thing. Nailed it, so they are all of our achievements for the base game. Let's get into rush mode. Now, rush mode was essentially a quickfire mode to play Slime Rancher. You had about an hour to generate as much money as you possibly can. Now, we needed to get $75,000 cash minimum in order to get all 3 achievements. Now, there are a couple of extra things about rush mode. You pretty much start with all of the upgrades, so you have not unlimited stamina, but the max amount of stamina, the max amount of health, as well as the max amount of bag space. You also start with a bunch of slime gadgets, such as teleporters as well. So I went ahead gathering a bunch of the resources in the ranch and on the far range, grabbing pogo fruits, carrots, and the main reason behind this was because you probably saw just there on the right, the hunter slimes and the hunter gordos are ever present in this mode, so you want to try and hit them as much as possible to try and generate as many gold plorts as possible. So that's why we were stockpiling the carrots and the pogo fruit, as well as that the other actual gordos, such as like the phosphorus gordo or the pink gordo, also take less food to pop now as well. So I managed to pop the tabby gordo with one chicken, getting the teleporter unlocked back to the ranch, and I also needed to find a roostro in order to complete Flora West's first mission for me. Now, unfortunately, the roostro that I had got eaten by a tabby cat and I went through the portal by accident. Thankfully, this second crate did have a roostro and I was able to return back to the ranch, handing in these items, getting myself 12 extra minutes as well as 6 gilded ginger. Now, this gilded ginger was what you used to pop the gold gordos, and it would only take 3 gilded ginger. So this is where the carrots and the pogo fruit would come in handy. I tried to hit as many of the gold slimes as I could to try and get as many plorts. Thankfully, I got 31 plorts and I was able to get those back to the ranch. I also laid the foundations for my first teleporters and then handed in the gold plorts, getting a bunch of money in the process. I also popped the pink gordo, getting the slime key, and popped the phosphor gordo, getting its slime key. As you can tell, this mode is very rushed and any mistakes that you make could cost you the run. So I wanted to try and prevent that as fast as possible. I also headed over to this island, popped the tabby gordo, and was on the hunt for another gold gordo. Thankfully, I found it, hit all the gold slimes that appeared out of it, and grabbed all the plorts, netting myself a pretty decent amount of starting capital. With 29 gold plorts completed and ready to go, I then popped this pink gordo at the top of this cliff, once again getting another slime key as well as various resources. Upon selling the golden plorts, I was able to get my starting capital, and I went ahead, built some farms as well as built some corrals for some slimes that we were going to get. Now in this mode, the slimes also had a set amount, they didn't fluctuate whatsoever, so obviously the end game slimes were going to generate more income. Thankfully, I could save my slime key and I jumped over the moss blankets entry, placed a teleporter, and started grabbing myself some honey slimes. These guys were going to be key to what I needed to do for them. I also popped the honey gordo up here, getting more honey slimes. These guys were going to be the foundations because they were very easy to look after with the mint mangoes. I was able to get a bunch of them in the process, as well as another slime key. So I was really happy with how this run was going so far. On day 2, with 45 minutes to go, we had already started our basic necessities that we needed to continue throughout this mode. I built the gardens, got the mint mangoes growing, placed the honey slimes into a corral, as well as a hunter slime that I'd picked up, and then I made my way to the glass desert with some rock plorts, wasting precious time playing with the teleporter. With the rock plorts in hand, I activated the fountain so that I could get the ancient water, watering everything as well, so that I could hopefully get some mosaic slimes as well as the tangle slimes. These were going to be our big money makers. I also placed down my blue teleporter so that I could teleport back and forth from here rather easily. I managed to get my first 2 mosaic slimes, getting rid of the rock slime that I accidentally sucked up, and then I popped the tangle gordo, getting all of the slimes from the tangle gordo as well. Once again, these guys were going to be key to getting us ahead, as they were the big money makers for their plorts. Now I then returned back to the ranch, getting Victor's second request. I needed a puddle slime and some phosphor slimes to increase my time and get some extra gilded ginger. I also turned the quantum slimes into quantum honey largos so that we could generate extra income from these 2 different types of plorts that we had going on. I also deposited my mosaic slimes, handed in the slimes I needed for Victor, getting the gilded ginger. That was another 6 gilded ginger, which meant I could pop 2 more gold gordos. I also chucked in the tangle slimes with some honey plorts to get that going as well, and then I continued my hunt for the golden gordos. Managed to pop one, getting a bunch more golden plorts in the process. You can see at the moment my funds are relatively low with only 3,600 money. I wasn't making a lot, and I didn't think I was on track for our goal, which was making me very nervous because I would have to repeat this all over again. I did do a couple of test runs before I actually started this main run as well, and this was the result of that. So after popping the 2 golden gordos, I managed to get 69 golden plorts, which I was really happy with because that was going to be a lot of money. After selling all of the golden plorts, I was left with a pretty hefty paycheck of about 25 grand, which was incredible. I headed back out to the glass desert, grabbing some more dervish slimes, some silver parsnips, and I was also looking for prickly pears when I found another golden gordo. Thankfully, I did find the prickly pears, managed to get those sucked up, and I had pretty much everything I needed to finish this run off. I had 22 minutes left to generate as much income as I possibly could. So I got all my prickle pears glowing, and then I started to sell all the plorts that I had, starting with the tangle and the honey plorts. So I was thankful to be able to start selling those. I then received a mission from Ogden, completed that mission getting 6 more gilded ginger in another 12 minutes. I then combined my dervish slimes with my mosaic slimes, found another golden gordo, and got all the golden plorts from that big guy, as well as some crystal slimes while I was out here as well. I then found another golden gordo, and you already know the drill. Hit him with a bunch of carrots, getting a butt ton this time around because they're actually all really closely gathered together. I went ahead, sold all of the gold plorts that I had, dropped off some boom slimes with some rad slimes, as you also got a bonus for depositing 25 plorts of each kind, and then disaster struck.
Oh, shit. Oh, are you kidding me? Well, that fucked things up, didn't it?
Now at this point, I thought I didn't make it, but I decided to stick with the run and continued selling all of our plorts as well, slowly making my way up the ranks of money. I also accepted Mocky Miles' mission with some more plorts to do and to get an extra 12 minutes of time and more gilded ginger, and that was completed easily enough. I only had 14 minutes to complete this challenge, and I was really worried that I wasn't going to have enough time to do so. Thankfully, I set up a water cannon to make sure that if any more tar slimes did appear, I would be ready for them. With 3 minutes left to go, I headed back to the ranch and begun selling all my plorts.
You know what? We're not going to risk it. I know we've got enough gilded ginger to go do the other golden slime, but I don't think I can make it. Not in time for what? I'm better off probably spending the time at the base, at the ranch, and getting everything there sorted out, because I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do it. If I go for this golden thingy, and then I don't even know if I'll make it back to the ranch in time, because we've got no teleporters left. Wait, do I have a... I think I do. I think I've got a market thing that I could send it to, but that's fine. Let's head back to base. Probably shouldn't have wasted this time deciding and making a decision. Should just stuck with base. We've got 2 minutes to complete rush mode. I don't know if we're close enough to making it. We'll find out shortly, I guess. Let's get these gold plorts in, and then we're going to go around grabbing all the plorts that we can. Come on. Oh my god, we're cutting it close. I hope we freaking make it after all of this. Why is it taking so long to suck for? Okay, we have a market link. I might chuck the market link down here. Fuck, this is so nerve-wracking. I think I'm just going to grab the 25 that it takes us to get these, and then we're going to chuck them in the market link, just so we get that bonus. Why does it take so long to suck up plorts? Oh my god, and shoot them out. Look at that. 20 seconds we got left. I don't think I even used any of the mosaic plorts that we had. I don't think I used any of them. I'm not going to be able to make them. Oh, here we go. 3 seconds left on the clock. Oh, man. Oh, we got all 3. Let's go. Thank God for that. I honestly don't know what I would have done if we didn't make that. Oh. Ooh. That was stressful, but we managed to do it and complete 100% of Slime Rancher. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below for more, and I'll catch you in the next one.